Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning into Extra, the podcast where I, Andrew Michael Harris, talk about anything and everything. Just really anything that pops into my head. Could be a news story, could be someone who inspires me, TikTok trend, could be anything really. I want to start out with a question. Have you ever worked a job where you didn't get paid? Have you ever worked a job for one day? Have you ever worked a job for one day and you never got paid? Um, I'm going to tell you guys about that. There was a time I needed a job. It didn't really matter what job it was. Is supplemental income. Always doing something creative on the side anyway. So I saw on Facebook somebody was like, "Hey, like looking for someone to work at Little Caesars," and I was like, "Okay, like that seems cool, to make pizza." So I go in. It's in a Walmart. Little Caesars in a Walmart. And it was just a wild experience. I had gone through the training, which was like any other training. Here's like XYZ, here's how the computer works. But the training I'm not counting as like an actual like day. I think I trained for like 2 hours and then left. I mean, there wasn't really much to it, right? So I come back for my shift. I find out the person that I was hired through um, actually quit. The girl who's there with me that day is like, "Yeah, this job sucks. Um, they don't pay you." And I was like, "Well, yeah, it's like minimum wage, right? Like, we're making pizza, whatever. It is what it is." She's like, "No, they don't pay you." I'm like, "No, like I get it." She's like, "No, no, like I'm waiting on a check I should have had." And then another one, the payment was wrong. So I'm like, "Wow, that's crazy." How can you work, clock in, clock out, and not get paid? And, you know, the other option, not get paid the amount of hours that you actually worked. Sounds pretty shady. Little Caesars in a Walmart. Um, so like I said, person who had hired me into the process quit. This is my first day on the job. Me and this girl who I don't even think she was a manager. I just think she was like a cashier, and they hadn't actually hired a new manager yet. She's like, teach me how to work the register, test me, see if I got it, and everything. Because the training on the one day and the 2 hours, kind of broke it down for me. But registers are kind of funny. Once you learn how to work one register, you kind of know how to work them all. The complication becomes like, I worked in a restaurant where, actually, a couple of restaurants where they had more sophisticated systems, and always when you're working in a restaurant, the register is going to be more complicated than you would at like a retail store, or like a fast food uh, register. Um, Restaurant is just that much different, that much more complicated. I'm not going to get into that, but basically, you get into this register, and I'm picking it up pretty easily. Like I said, seen the most complicated one, and then from there, everything else is just like so easy to learn. She's like, "Wow, you're really good at this." Like, yeah, thank you, thank you. Hyped up, working Little Caesars, first day on the job. Just trying to take it for what it is. It wasn't exciting. I didn't go into this thing thinking I was gonna, have like the best time in the world, or that it was gonna be the greatest job I ever had. It wasn't about that. It was just, I'm gonna pay some extra bills with this job. So she starts getting like text messages. I don't know if it was from like her boyfriend or something like that, but um I know she had a kid. She like had to go. Uh I've learned how to use, like, when to put stuff in the warmer, when to rotate it out after a couple hours. And I'm talking like the food warmer that they had for the kind of like hot and ready pizzas and things like that. Uh, Everything was like clean. Everything was well put together. It seemed like it should have been like a pretty easy and well oiled machine. But when you're working in an environment where everybody is just, people quitting, and they're talking shit about the boss, and they're kind of talking shit about the company, it's one of those things where it just becomes a little draining, and especially on your first day, and when you're kind of just using this job as like a filler, and all these things are happening, rumors of not being paid, things like that. It's kind of disheartening and makes you want to just leave. um you get to a certain point in your life where you're like, well, I don't want to put up with that, so I'm not going to. And it's okay because of like X, Y, or Z, right? I'm not saying when the going gets tough, just quit, but I was at this place. This chick starts freaking out. It's like stressing. The person who had quit was supposed to come in later that day. So she's like calling her, trying to get her to come in. She's like, "No, I quit. Not coming." And this girl is like pissed. "I've worked X amount of hours this week, and so I've gotta go." She's like, I'm sorry, Andrew. I'm sorry. Fine. It's whatever. I don't know you from Adam. We just met, really. Like we just met. So she ends up, she's like, I'm supposed to be gone by like 3 today. And I'm not going to stay after. So I'm going to teach you how to close. And I think you can handle it. And I'm like, okay, sure. No, that's fine. And in my head, I'm thinking, I don't really have a choice here. Like, you're telling me that you're basically going to leave no matter what. And I'm stuck here to close by myself. So she shows me, like, the safe and the combination and XYZ, all this stuff. Closing it up. What to turn off, what to leave on, XYZ. She leaves. And I get this super mad rush of people for like the whole rest of the time. So I'm like King Little Caesar at this point. Like, I'm back there making pizzas, putting them in the oven on one end, they're coming out the other. You got to tell the customer that if they don't want the hot and ready, it's going to be 10-minute wait. So it's either, take the hot and ready, or you wait 10 minutes, or you leave. Some would leave, some would take the hot and ready, some would wait 10 minutes. It got a little stressful by myself doing it when, people would like leave and then they would come back for their stuff, but it wouldn't be like 10 minutes, it would be like 45 minutes later. And you've got their pizza in the warmer. And I didn't fall into some trap of like, accidentally giving someone the wrong pizza from the warmer. That would have made me have to, like make another one. So I guess that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that's just one of the pitfalls you can fall into doing it when you get too stressed. What happened to me was, because of the mad rush of people, I had too many pizzas in the warmer. So it was getting kind of stacked up. The mad dash people and everything. And then, so I made it through the rush. And after that, the cleaning up and the closing and everything all by myself. I was really proud of myself that I was able to do that off 2 hours of training, a little part of a work day, and an introductory closing just from the other experiences that I had had. But I left after that. I left at the end of that day. And I told them, I said, I texted her after I tried to call her, and I was like, this is just not gonna work for me. Call me. I explained, but I never got paid. It doesn't matter if you work at a company for a week, a day, a month, a year. Just never got paid for the work that I did. So I always have a kind of a bad taste in my mouth for Little Caesars, but it's one of those things where some people look at an experience like that and they say, oh, it was a blessing in disguise. Well, me, not necessarily. I just think it was an experience I had to have to kind of make me say to myself, you got to learn when to recognize the BS in life. So if anyone has worked a job for a day like I did and left, let me know what your reason was in the comments. Let me know how you felt. Let me know about your bad work experiences. I had even tried to contact the company and just never got anything. Crazy. But thank you guys for listening to my little story time. You've been listening to Extra. My name is Andrew Michael Harris, and we'll catch you guys next time. Peace.